discussion video 5, and we are going to my name is Teh Cheng Yi, matrix number is 192707.
My name is Nurul Aliza, matrix number is 191983.
My name is Nuriana, my matric number is 199149.
My name is Aini Samira Bahsiri, my matrix number is 194107.
So today we are going to discuss about our 4th day in class, and you need to share anything new or useful that you have learned in your class. So
Okay, so we have different classes that we enter. 3 of us are in the same class.
We're in pink group.
Yeah, we are in pink group.
The upper intermediate.
And only
I'm in red
Aliza,
class.
yeah, she's a different
Advanced.
class.
So
Nice and
Advanced
class.
you should try.
Okay, on the first day of class, our teacher's name is Darren. He is an Englishman. He is a mix of, I think he's actually Irish. He's from Leeds. And then I don't want to say about his background too much. So the first day of class, we've started doing how to determine the nouns. That's hard to describe. So I'll just say about the tenses. We focused on the tenses. So there's 12 tenses. So for all, so there's as you know, there's simple, there's continuous, and then there's future. But then there's simple, there's perfect, like past, perfect, continuous. There's a lot of combination. So there's 3, then there's 4, so it's 12. I can't remember really. I can't list it out. I can write it out, but not list it out now. And then we also focused on punctuation, because the thing is, we learned the punctuation, but then the names, we got confused with the terms in American English. So he's trying to correct us in British English. Like, for example, it's supposed to be full stop, not what is it called? Another one? Period. Yeah, that's the American English. So it's supposed to be full stop and all. And then we also learned how to use the Macmillan English Dictionary properly. And then today we learned poetry.
Oh,
Literature.
Yeah, literature by Tim. It was I used to be into Malay poetry, but then that just for a short period. So just now we got a poetry about refugees by Bill Langston. I can't remember his name, but that poem is very unique, because when you read it downwards, it sounds like they hate the refugees, but then actually it's when they said you need to see the world in another way, you need to read it backwards. Then the meaning will become different, and it's what we actually need to think about. We need to accept those refugees. I learned about the beauty of poetry today. That's all for my class. So the first 3 days, there's a lot of grammars and writings, but today we learn about poetry. So how about the pink classes?
I think for our class is more to speaking classes.
Yeah,
Like we have to speak
To
every class.
Yeah, it's like for like our first class, we learn how to ask a question in a correct form, and then it's like from the first day it carries on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The way we question, the way we the form of our question, and then how we answer it, and then and then there's another one that our teacher's name is Mr. Paul.
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 Just
Paul.
Paul.
Just Paul.
Oh, yeah, okay. Paul, friend.
Never mind. Just
But it's a long.
Paul Francis Dickinson. Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
his name.
It's okay, but what I think is useful is that he said that we all know the vocabulary. I mean, like there's one word that we know many meanings of one word, but he wants us to use one word so many times so that we can use it accurately, and then he teaches us like every time we get new we already know the words, so we have to write it down and form a sentence differently, like with adverb and then the opposite of the opposite meaning of the word, so we know how to use it accurately. And then I think that's useful for us, so we have to start even if we already know what's the meaning of the word, but we have to use it accurately in a sentence. So by writing them down, he said it's easy for us to remember, and rather than just putting it in our our brain, but we can speak it out. And then on Thursday, our third class, Peter
Peter
what-
came in.
Peter
Actually, in
came
third class, we have two teachers. One is Paul, one is Peter Martin. Okay, so Paul, he's more to like how we speak, how we question the answer. He's more like teach us how to answer the question properly. So
More to grammar.
yeah, more of grammar and all of that.
vocabulary.
But Peter Martin, he stressed about the vocabulary. Like whenever he said, he left the pause, and then he asked us to continue what he want to say, and he just like to give a clue, like he gave us some words and then blank space, and he asked us, what is this?
Yeah.
That is Peter's style of teaching, because he wanted us to know more vocabulary. And Peter also, he gave a lot of front page of a newspaper. He asked us
about the Brexit.
yes, about Brexit, and it is really cool because I think that I'm more into politics, and we also learned about the Brexit, even though it's really in the surface of the politics of British, but we actually know what really happened. Because truth to be told, when I read the British newspaper, I really don't understand what they're trying to say because of their using high English level. And then when we read together in Peter's class, oh, this is what they say.
It's like open
this is
our
what it's
mind
meaning.
about what's actually happened in British.
Peter really teach me not to just read and then just bluntly like we really understand it, because when I read it, I really don't understand it, and he said that try to pick out the main points for us to be more understand, for us to really search what is the meaning inside of the article. Reading article is really not easy, guys, when you read with Peter Martin, but I love the way he's teaching.
For me, in Paul's class, I really like how he teach us about the vocab, because he says when you learn a vocab, you not just learn the word, but in many form of that word, like of the word, like the verb, nouns, adverb, and adjective, and the opposition.
Example, decision, it can be indecisive. Usually that I pronounce it as indecisive, but it is actually indecisive. What's the words? It's a lot of words, right? The decision can be like 4 types of decision that he gives us.
Yeah, there's just one word where you can turn into very many different forms, and then choose the most accurate word to use when in our daily life. And then we also learn how to read effectively, and he also teach us how to pronounce a word, like where we need to stress a word, or how do we pronounce it, there's something like that. And then Peter taught us how to read, and he teach us a lot of useful language. Yeah.
And in POM class we learned something about extreme interviews. That is one of my favorite too.
Yeah, the extreme interviews is like an article about very bizarre question where the
Interviews where they usually take place, and the interviews has question that is really strange and is unique from other interviews, because I remember that the Steve Jobs doing his suddenly in the interview session, he suddenly flapping his hand like chicken wings. And what do you guys expect if you're the interviewee? Will you just fluster or will you just join with it?
they're just trying to see the interviewer's reaction to choose who will get the job.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that the day my instructor Darren, he tricked us with a word. I can't remember what word is it, but then he tricked us with three words with meaning. I mean, three meanings, but it's the same word. Then he asked us to do the same with our partners to trick the other groups. Me and Betty, we tricked 2 or 3 groups, I think. Okay, later I will share.
I think that's all for the first week of our class.
Bye.
See you later.
At 4th day of our class.